Hi everyone, my name is Elijah Dow, and I'm going to talk today about pickleball, one of the fastest growing sports in the country. I'm sure all of you have seen pickleball courts popping up everywhere, you've seen people playing, and probably more importantly, you've been seeing stuff online, a lot of the marketing, merchandise, equipment, videos, and I bet there's not one of you that hasn't heard of this sport yet. But I wanted to talk about it because it's something that I've enjoyed and grown a lot in the last year. It's a way that I've connected with my family. So, starting off, just imagine if you haven't heard of pickleball, um, sport like tennis, ping pong, and badminton all rolled into one. I'd like to start by asking, have you ever played a sport that's so fun it doesn't even feel like exercise? That's what pickleball is for millions of people. So I've seen so many videos online of older people getting into pickleball and finding new youth, or even people that were overweight just by playing pickleball week after week, losing hundreds of pounds sometimes. It's just a fun, enjoyable game that anyone can play, ages 2 to 100. If you can hold a paddle, you can probably swing it and hit the ball and enjoy at your pace. And so it's something everybody's enjoying, and I guess that's the best explanation I can give for now. So, just as an overview, pickleball is more than a trend. It's a fun, social, and accessible sport. I think accessible is the big word that is taking the world by storm. I've heard of pickleball all over the world, in the country, out of the country. And today we're going to talk about three aspects of the game: where it came from and its origins, how the game is played, and why it's become so popular, and a little bit more about its popularity today. Now, so many people are falling in love with this game, but it started in a very interesting way. So, in the summer of 1965, there in near Seattle, Washington, there were three families: the Pritchard family, the Bell family, and the McCallum family. Now, these three families were spending a lot of time together, and they wanted to find a new way and creative way to spend their time, especially outside. So Joel, Bill, and Barney, the fathers of these three family, kind of put their heads together and their resources together, and this is what they came up with. They had a badminton court, a tennis, badminton court with the net that they lowered, and then they had a perforated ball, kind of like a wiffle ball, and ping pong paddles. So they took these resources and they started playing the game. And as you can see on the top left of the screen, that is the first ever pickleball court. Over time, the game has developed, kind of come together, changed, more rules were implemented, and it is what it is today. The rules continue to change by the National Pickleball Association and different pickleball organizations, USA Pickleball, Duper, and these are some different things that kind of influence the way the game is played and how it's scored and kind of its ratings. But those are the three men, and that's kind of where it began. The name pickleball actually came from their dog. His name was Pickles, who liked to chase after the ball as they were playing, and so that's kind of where the name came from. It's pretty interesting origins, but it's pretty amazing. I'm sure they wouldn't have imagined what the game actually became today. So now talking a little bit about how the game is played. There is a diagram of the court. So it's about the size of a doubles badminton court. It's 20 feet wide by 44 feet long. And the net is positioned in the middle of the court, and it's slightly lower than a regulation tennis court net. So starting off with the serve, as I said, the game can be played 1-on-1 or 2v2. But either way, the serving side starts behind the baseline and does an underhanded serve with the paddle and the ball. The serve goes over the net diagonally to the other serve area's side of the court. Something interesting and unique to pickleball is that the ball has to bounce once on each side before the ball is officially in play and can be volleyed out of the air. This kind of prevents somebody from standing up close to the net and just smacking the serve right back as it comes to them. So the ball has to bounce on the one side and then return to the other side, and at that point it can be volleyed and hit out of the air, or bounced off the ground and hit over the net. Now I want to talk about that blue section in the middle. This is the no volley zone, affectionately known as the kitchen in the pickleball community. So the no volley zone is exactly as it sounds. The ball cannot be hit out of the air as you're standing in that zone. If the ball bounces there, it can then be returned. You can step in and return it, but you cannot be standing in that zone and hit the ball out of the air. This kind of prevents somebody from just standing up against the net and just smashing the ball as it comes right over. So I think that makes, with the different zones in the serving and also the kitchen, I think it makes pickleball an interesting sport as far as positioning. When I explain to somebody how the game is played, that's my number one thing, is I tell them where you stand matters. So as the ball is being served, you're behind the baseline. You cannot go any farther than the kitchen line unless the ball bounces there. And so that creates a lot of dynamic as far as where you're standing and when. And so the ball, just like tennis and ping pong, is hit from one side to the next. The ball cannot bounce twice on either side, and it cannot be hit outside of the court. If it does, a point is awarded to the serving team or serving side. But the points can only be scored if you are the server, so the serving team can only score points. However, if the serving team messes up, then the ball goes then to the other side to serve, and points can be scored that way. So the game is played to 11, and it needs to be won by 2 points at least. So that's a little bit about how the game is played. It's similar to tennis, and something I love about the game is it's a little bit interesting when you begin, but as you start to play, you start to understand the dynamic, and it can be learned very, very quickly. It's pretty simple. All you need is a paddle, a ball, someone to play with, and a court. Now, to wrap up, I want to talk a little bit about pickleball's rise and its accessibility and community and why it is booming. So the pickleball participation graph is kind of a down the middle estimate of overall players. There are estimates saying that there are upwards of 30 million players per year. There are some saying between 10 and 20. This estimate says as of 2024, there are about 19 million players per year that have played pickleball. However, I think the graph, or the chart, is a good visual as to its increase in popularity and just the sheer boom in popularity over the last 5 to 7 years. When I started playing pickleball, it was a lot of, as you can imagine, retired tennis players. So a lot of older individuals who at one point had played tennis and then made a transition into pickleball. However, nowadays it's a very young sport. There's a lot of young people playing. It's very fast-paced. The gameplay has changed a lot. And I think that is because of exposure and accessibility. Courts are popping up everywhere. Organizations such as Duper and USA Pickleball have developed. Duper is actually a scoring metric that scores different players and places them into categories. So then you can start playing with people your level, and it starts developing leagues and teams and tournaments and different styles of play. USA Pickleball kind of connects everybody and brings everybody together. It establishes rules, regulations, and just makes sure that the game is being played fairly. I think something else that has changed the game quite a bit is something like this. This is a pickleball paddle. Pickleball paddles have changed a lot during the course of the game. So this is my paddle. I think the materials used, the weight of the paddle, everything changes. And it's almost like, if you think about Harry Potter, it's like the wand. No two wands are the same. No two paddles are the same. So they all play very differently. And I think over the course of time, as pickleball has gotten more popular, more equipment and even pickleball dedicated stores have been established. And so it's given players quite a bit of flexibility as to how they want to play the game. So all players can enjoy it. The next graph is just something showing pickleball players, or excuse me, pickleball by popularity across the country by city. So cities all over the country are playing, and it's something that's super popular. So just to wrap up, pickleball is something anybody can play. Like I said, it's pretty easy to go from a beginner to an intermediate, and I think that's something that I love about it. Anybody can play, any age, any weight, any height, any race, any gender can play pickleball and learn and enjoy it and grow. I love pickleball, and I've enjoyed talking a little bit about it with you today, a little bit about its history, how it's played, and why it's become so popular. It's not just a sport, it's a movement that brings people together all over. Thank you.